All right.
Just blabber.
I'm pulling Sen in.
I told you, if the fucking Downies and shit get into heaven, I don't want to go there.
Pulling.
Also, just one more thing, right? Another thing is that if any, like, there's a lot of people, they don't believe this. Animals don't have souls, right? In any of the Abrahamic religions, they don't have souls. If they do, I don't want to go to heaven. We kill billions of cows per year. You know how full that place is going to be by now?
For revenge.
If you have Down syndrome and you go to heaven, anyway, never mind.
Can we ask Sen about his thoughts on
No.
Jehovah's Witness?
Pulling Sen in now.
Now recording.
Hey, Sen.
Hi, Sen.
Hello.
What's up, dude?
What are your thoughts on Down syndrome?
It's cool.
Okay. I agree.
He's down with the syndrome.
It's based, as the kids say, you know.
With syndrome?
All right. So, while all the Mama Mac stuff was going down, a war of the minds was happening on a live stream in which two up-and-coming streamers named Angry Slug and PeePaw Riverter participated in a friendly debate within the marketplace of ideas. Unfortunately, this marketplace was located deep within the sewers of the abscess-infested community that is Angry Slug's live stream. Now, this conundrum we have here is an interesting talking point. We have some in this community that were warned about Slug, but decided to take their chances and give him one last chance in this enduring and thus enduring the Slug cycle. But instead of shutting the door on him after he has turned on them and locking Slug out, Peepaw, D-Max, Maggot Edits, Flatly, and others decided they would not go quietly into the night. No, they turned back around and stood their ground using Slug's own game against him. And it sort of worked. Slug on that live stream spurred, screamed, coped, etc. While I wouldn't say Peepaw looked amazing during it, he unfortunately was cut off by the untraditional moderator named Leo Convoy, who's known Slug for a couple months, had no idea about the drama, and dresses up like a lion.
Greetings and bienvenue. I am Leo Convoy, coming at you again with another drama-centric video.
Yeah, he's a furry. So there's that. Leo participated in deflecting the debate into a weird territory, and the wheels spun off as fast as it began, but no one can take away how entertaining it really was. Now, with us today, we have our co-hosts, Beavers, Toxic Piplup, D-Max, and me as well, and also a man who... Yeah, I am fumbling. I lost my place. A man who really doesn't need an introduction. A man who's thrown optics out of the window. A man who doesn't need a disavowal. We have Mr. Sen here to kind of represent Slug's perspective. Now, before I continue, I do want to say Sen is not an absolute Slug defender. In fact, he's gone on streams to totally dismantle Slug's talking points and devour him at any chance he has. He is not truly like, he just kind of sees him as a spurg who he kind of likes to go on streams and talk shit to. But if you want more context with the Steve Believe and Send stuff and all that stuff that goes back then, you can check out old Now Recording episodes. We also did an episode with Slug where we interviewed him, and he told all the crazy stuff he's done in the past that was brought up on Peepaw's stream. So if you want more context of that, you can talk about, you can go see that episode. Now that I've wasted as much time as possible, Sen, before we really get into it, I want to ask you this to break the ice and find some common ground here. What annoys you the most about Slug?
That he doesn't let shit go.
I think that's that really is something that he just continuously does. Is just he can't drop anything, right?
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't let things go, and it looks like that results in him continuously doing the same things over and over and over again.
Yeah, I think one thing that I really get annoyed by and it came out while watching that debate, is the autistic filibustering he does. Yeah, where he just he'll just drone on and on and on about something, and then the other guy's just kind of sitting there like I don't really want to talk about.
Yeah, this. I think the hope is to make everybody bored, so that it's just it's so the muddy. It's like the water is just so muddy at that point that everybody's just like, forget it. I don't know if you posted any links to whatever. I'm out of here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Beavers, did you want to start?
No, not particularly.
Oh boy. Okay.
I just said a whole fucking paragraph.
It's 2:14 in the morning. Leave me alone. I'm drinking coffee.
Yeah. Okay. I did want to just point out here that to me the biggest loser on that debate was not Slug and it was not PeePaw Riverter. It was fucking Leo Convoy. I can't stand that dude.
Yeah, I want to make a little thing about that, because this is something, in chat, and hey, you know what? I know there's a lot of people who are calling me a coward, and I'm going to get to that in a second. But I just want to point out, Shadow Humor donated $100 to get them to remove all the people from the call and have it just be PeePaw and Slug. And Slug refused to do that. He said he didn't want to come on Now Recording because he didn't want to have moderators, and yet he used Leo Convoy as a moderator. He still, with a moderator, by the way, who was on his side, didn't know anything about PeePaw Riverter, still had to mute his microphone, still actually lied several times and said he only muted it for the server on Discord and not for the stream. But he did that. And then he put the beeps, the crazy, silly beeps and all of this nonsense. And it's just like, listen, all right, if you were somebody in that chat, if you if you were somebody in that chat who was trying to be objective, you know, it seems like a lot of the people who I would point to be objective in these types of situations, people who are not fans of PeePaw Riverter, were even saying that it was Slug L for doing that. And I agree. That's why I wanted him to come on Now Recording. And I didn't want to go on there because I knew that sort of stuff was going to happen. Also, I don't really have any beef with Slug. All right. I just like making fun of him now. It's just kind of, you know, from time to time I might do it because it's fun. And he gets mad. It's really easy to kind of get under his skin if you can pull that off. You know what I mean?
Oh, I actually have an official statement from the pedophile hunter Leo Convoy.
Oh, for real?
Well, I say it's an official statement, but it's more of like he disassociated with Slug like 24 hours ago, and I knew about it. I knew about it, but I didn't say anything. So I just I'm like, hey, I'm gonna go on Now Recording. I'm just gonna tell them. And they'll probably stop tagging you if I tell them. And he's like, yeah, sure, go for it. So, and he did get all those tags, by the way. He muted, I believe.
I did tweet out when I saw Leia something going on. I did tweet out hey, guys, I get what you're trying to do here, but let Leo and Slug breathe, bro. I'm so disappointed in this, by the way. I wanted Slug on his live stream, and I wanted a side cam with Leo, and he's in his lion costume. And he's just like, well, Slug, I think so-and-so is so-and-so. I wanted that dynamic, and I'm not going to get it now because Leo pussed out, bro.
Was Slug trying to start a clan, like a Call of Duty clan, a year or two ago with Convoy? Whenever he changed his name to Hammer Convoy?
I don't know, actually. I don't know where he got the Convoy from. I don't know. That's a mystery to me.
It's not even related. It's just something that Leo said in that stream, right? You know, and I don't know if Sen disagrees, but, you know, he was saying that there are certain situations where, you know, doxing people is okay, right?
Yeah.
That's what Leo said. And you know what? I could agree with him. The problem with that stance is, I don't think there's anybody in our environment that's really competent enough to be that person that decides when doxing somebody is okay.
And it definitely isn't Leo. That's for fucking
yeah, I get what you mean.
Because the problem is, let's say you catch a guy unequivocally, he's a pedo, right? Fuck that guy. Mm-hmm. Fuck him, right? Do what you want. The problem then becomes, is Slug will accuse somebody of being a pedo, and then because everybody has said it's okay to dox pedos, he just says, well, he's a fucking pedo, that's why I doxed him.
Well, you know, no, but Beavers,
that's why that system doesn't work. And I agree. And then he goes on there and he says, you know, I don't even know how fucking old he is. He plays his age up so much, like he's like a real PeePaw, right? Like he's a real PeePaw. He plays it up. And I'm like, bro, do you not think who you're dealing with? Do you think that everybody you're dealing with on the internet, if you are so intelligent, is exactly the same as you? No, they're fucking retards. Treat them like they're fucking retards. You can't be. Anyway, it just pisses me off. I don't like him. He was actually, by the way, Leo Convoy has been on my fucking radar for a very long time.
We reacted to a couple of his clips earlier on in the year, I think, during one of the live streams, and just kind of made fun.
It was one of those. It was really funny because it was right after that stream. I was talking to you guys, and you were like, "You know who Leo Convoy is, right?" We reacted on stream. I'm like, "Really?" And then you show me the picture, and I'm like, "Oh!" I wish that I had known. I wish I knew because I would be putting those lion emojis in the chat and all sorts of stuff. But
yeah, the lion, the retard, and the wardrobe.
That's what the name of the episode should be. Yes,
bro. He fucking
PeePaw's the wardrobe.
Now I remember, just as a refresh for the people listening, right? I remember that stream that we covered. And essentially what it is what Leo Convoy likes to do. He likes to find a retard on the internet who can't fight back, who's doing dubious things, right? And then he goes and he finds that guy's information, gets the guy in a call, and then he's like, well, if you don't say what I want you to say, then I am going to release the docs. And the fucking goat,
I grew
Like
kids, I
fighting
grew
a-
kids, I grew kids.
he's like, he's literally fighting a fucking potato, bro.
No, I've noticed that. I've noticed that with him. I don't have any hard feelings towards Leo Convoy. I think his methods are a little questionable, and I do think that he does. I do think that he goes after low hanging fruit a lot of the time. I don't know. I think it's his I personally think that it's for his own entertainment or to look better in his server, but that's just my observation. I could be totally wrong, but
I personally think, Sam, that if you take a look at his channel, right, he likes feeling important. And his little shit videos that he makes on his Transformer toys don't get views. But when he covers a retarded pedo,
yeah.
suddenly he gets them.
Yeah, it's like the grift of yeah.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
you know, I mean, my thing is that Slug, I think with his new standard going forward, you know, I agree with you, Beavers. I don't think that, like, my position and PeePaw's position is always, you know, doxing bad, you know, for no matter who it is, no matter who it's to, whatever the situation is. Our general thing is like, hey, if you need to dox somebody or you feel they need to dox somebody, you should probably just go to the police and, like, have them sort out whatever issue it is. But actually, I think that maybe Slug could go forward at least with the idea of, like, you know, doxing pedos, and that could be fine potentially, because he now has this new standard apparently, where he actually has to see real hard court documents in order to prove anything that he says. So now Slug is not allowed to just go around calling up people a pedo unless he has certified court documents stating that they are. That was the standard that he tried to deliver against Riv. So that's the same standard he should have to live by.
Well, like for himself, that doesn't mean he's going to
Yeah.
apply to. And that's another problem with Slug, you know.
Yeah, I actually made
What's
this
the
note
problem?
while
Slug will. So basically, it's like Slug will want you to do that for him, but he won't give that courtesy to other people.
That's what I'm saying, is that he has to now, because if he's going to use that against other people, then surely he should do it himself.
He'll find an
doesn't
excuse.
have to.
He will
He
find
doesn't
an
have
excuse.
to.
He doesn't have to,
He will
T-Mac.
find some elaborate fucking excuse. He'll pull it
No,
out
no,
of
no.
his ass.
I understand that he won't, but I'm saying that he very much should if he's actually, you know, somebody who's supposed to be taken seriously. Now, I know that Slug is not supposed to be taken seriously because, again, that was something that he went on and on about, was just like, oh, I'm just trying to get at people. He didn't say this verbatim, but he basically said, I was just trolling, guys. Whenever I call people pedos, it's just a troll. It's just like, that kind of shit is so stupid to me, because it's like, everybody knows your game, dude. You're gonna sit here and you're gonna call it serious allegations when it's lobbed at you, but it's not serious when you're doing it against anybody else. What if somebody played the weird lol suit game that Slug likes to play with other people against Slug? What would he do in that situation? He'd go up in front of the judge and he'd be like, well, it was actually just an online internet troll, guys. That's all it was. I'm just a little guy.
when I went back and I listened to the debate and I made a bunch of notes, and one note I said is Slug again plays this game of hypothetical court of law,
Yep.
meaning Riverter could not make this argument in a court of law, therefore it's invalid, which means every accusation Slug has made could not be made in a court of law, therefore Slug's accusations are invalid. Debate over.
Okay.
Debate over. It's
Debate
over.
over.
No,
Debate
okay,
over.
okay, but hold on. All right. If you are to, and I have every reason to believe it, right? If you are to believe that whole situation that happened with Slug and what was going on behind the scenes, I have no reason to doubt him, right, about what happened there, because it has been extensively covered. But he didn't think when he made those statements.
He never
Right?
does.
No, but I could see from a Slug perspective when you're saying that it is like, well, I'm getting the own on these people, right? But he didn't really think of the implications of what he was saying. So when you read like
He said
tweet
that
with the
Riverter
links-
raped his children. He said that I and Riverter apparently allegedly tried to murder his parents because Alpha Russ doxed him or something. I don't even know what happened with. I don't even know who Alpha Russ is. Like, it's like that's a different level of unhingedly. Like, what are you doing, man? Like, stop, please. It's crazy. And yet people are like, oh no, he's just a little guy. Like, what do you mean he's a little guy?
We
He's
did not.
a
Hey,
one guy. He's a
we did
one.
not say he was a little guy. We said steer clear. Keep your
I know, no,
distance.
I'm not saying you guys. No, to be fair, you guys have been telling everybody since time immemorial. So I got to take the L on that one.
We've been through this. You see me, Sen, Beavers, Toxic. We've seen Slug for years. We know what he does. We've been around this cycle many times.
Okay, but
And
here's,
it's just-
here's something, right? Riveter has too. Riveter's seen this now, right? what did he have to gain when he said he was going to leave it on Twitter and argues with him for 2 days, and then he goes on Slug stream, bringing all his attention to Slug the Doxer, right? So now Slug has this like nearly 100 viewers in his stream.
Yeah. Well, I
Like,
kind of well,
He had more than he deserved.
right. My mindset, right, when I was like talking about it is like, look, if you really want to like get Slug to like fucking stop saying crazy shit about you, confront him. Like when it's happening on live stream, fucking confront him and be like, Slug, what are you trying to say? I don't know if you remember this, but Sen, when we did the Steve to Leave episode, he reacted to it and he just started saying fucking some crazy shit about me on stream. It was like, I hope he loses his leg and
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, you were on that. I remember you DM. You're the one who DM'd me being like, "Yo, Slug's going off right now." And
Wait, was it the time he said he was gonna shoot you or imply?
No, that was before. That was like a year before.
See, I lose count of all the outrageous shit he says. You know.
No,
Look, hold on.
Okay,
before we get too far away from it, though, my counterpoint to what Toxic said, because I don't disagree now. But our whole thing was just we literally were just trying to get a rise. We were just kind of bored, and we were very, very like kind of just like put off by the whole, almost month-long tirade that he went on of saying that we allegedly tried to kill his parents or whatever. I understand it's Slug, we get it, But as more and more time has gone along, certain things like this Leo Convoy guy, disavowing or whatever he did, it's more and more of a W for PeePaw. So I stand by my take. Riv W, Reverter W. I want to see it in the comments too.
I don't think so, because to me, when I watched that fucking stream, it just seemed like the Spider-Man meme. You know when the two Spider-Mans are fucking pointing at each other? And they're like, no, you. That's essentially what it boiled down to. Because Rev went on there and he was making the same arguments that Slug was making. But the problem is you don't realize that Slug is stubborn as fuck, right?
Yeah.
He's not going to see what you're doing.
Yeah.
And so he's just making the same points back. And it devolved. It just evolved into Spider-Man pointing.
Just to piggyback onto that, like Slug will never come to the realization of what he's doing. Slug will pretend and be like, "I'm a changed man," and he'll. But my fact.
I think Slug knows what he's doing sometimes.
But he won't. But he won't like come to that. He won't be like, "Oh, you know what? You're right. You are giving a taste of my medicine. I'm sorry, Riveter." Like it's not.
No, I think the funniest part of that whole thing too was the moment where Slug realized that that's what Riv was doing, and then he went like, "So you're an asshole. You're just terrible. You're like a terrible person now." It was just like, okay, so let me get this straight. So when somebody else does exactly what you do, and you're admitting that is what you do, you're saying that person is now terrible, and then that turned into like all of a sudden like PeePaw got the L. How? That's what Slug has done since forever.
Wow.
I think he already knew about it though, like to an extent. Because I'm like, you realize
he
that
should have because it was pretty obvious. I mean, come on, come on now with some of the stuff we were saying. Come on.
I think like it came out of nowhere and stuff, and it wasn't like it was weird to me because when I saw that, I thought he was just being legit because when Leo whatever his name is, came in and said, "All right, then call the police" to one of Riveter's tweets. Riveter replied like the police report has already been filed or something. So I took that as okay. So I guess he's being serious. And then later on, as it continued on, he didn't reply to Lio anymore. He was just talking to Slug the entire time. And then I heard that it's like, oh, they're just doing what Slug does to other people to him.
Just to be clear about that, because I don't have a huge wealth of knowledge on that, but I think that point in particular was because they were arguing like one of the weird things with Slug, and basically Riv was trying to get at whether Slug knew that there was a police report filed about something. It wasn't saying that PeePaw was going to file a police report or that he had. It was, did somebody already do that? So that's a vague over under for it.
I mean, look, I don't think it's Riveter L, right? But I think in the situation when you try to hold a mirror up at Slug, like picture you trying to hold a mirror up at Slug. This is what Slug does. He looks at his reflection and he goes, "Oh, look, a turtle." Like it's just not. Like it's not. Yeah, it just never.
The reason
it's not worth
that
it.
He's got a handicap. It's not really worth it. Yeah.
The reason that I say it's a Riveter L, right, is you can, if you know what Riveter's intentions were, it's like it's whatever, right? Then it's not an L. It's kind of neutral. But the thing is. It's almost exactly the same as that CJ situation with that clip that PeePaw posted, right? Mm. It's like, if you know the context around it, right, it's not a Rivel, okay? But if you don't have that context, it very much looks like a revel.
You know what? I'll take it, because basically what you're saying is when it matters, it's a W. When it doesn't matter, it's an L. I'll take it.
The other reason that I don't think that approach that you guys do necessarily works with Slug is Slug doesn't. I don't know, bro.
I mean, Slug just benefited off of it, so I don't know how that's like a.
I don't think he did. But see, that's
he got $200
like,
when he shouldn't have gotten it. He shouldn't have gotten that money.
He got $200, right?
I can't believe you're coming after Slug's bag, Sen. That's just ridiculous. But besides that point,
his streams have been more
I'm
popular
just saying
than
he
ever.
doesn't deserve it. He really
no,
doesn't.
but I mean, he has everybody coming at him now. It was a boulder rolling downhill at some point for him, and it's just like, listen, the goal was to make his life hard for like just a little bit of time, and there was a lot of stuff that came out of that. I mean, like the quote unquote girlfriend thing. That wouldn't have happened if this didn't happen. That's shoegate. Yeah, come on, dude. Hashtag shoegate.
Ah, bitch. Ow.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
Ah, bitch. Ah, bitch. Threw a shoe at me. What the hell?
I like her.
Come on.
Slug's a very weird guy because he posted that, and this is why I'm like, most of the shit he does doesn't make any sense. So I think there's something mentally wrong with him. Not like, not even joking. But he posted that photo, but it wasn't a current day photo. He posted a past photo that he had with that girlfriend on that day to prove he had a girl. But it wasn't on that day, so it doesn't make sense to post that photo. That's why you saw his hair being long in that photo, and like the other day he was like a skinhead.
Was it supposed to be the same?
I didn't even notice that.
yeah, flatly pointed that out.
That was called Hairgate. Yeah,
Yep.
Like where did Slug's hair go, or how did Slug's hair grow?
Well, and then at the at the end of the debate, Slug's like, and then you tried to redact her face. And then, but all he did,
he posted the picture. He posted the picture.
But all Riverter did, right, was just put Slug's face onto the girl, right? So they were like dating each other.
It made it actually more of a redaction, in my opinion. That because if you're just posting a picture of somebody and they have like a black thing over their face, which is what Slug posted, right? Then you take that image and then you make it funny by superimposing Slug's face reversed on the other person's face. To me, that's like getting further away from the actual image. People were treating it like it was like, Riv went into Photoshop and like took off the layer that had the black marker on it, and he was able to see her face, and then use that as a threat against Slug. It's like, do you guys not know how Photoshop works?
I gotta ask, who are the people? Because I do you mean the people in Slug's head? Do you mean Lisa and Sid?
No.
Because
who? Specifically JFA. I heard this from JFA. Was one
JFA's
of
a troll, isn't he?
He's like, yeah.
Yes, he was serious when he said that, though.
What the fuck? Maybe he was drunk. Because, again, this is kind of like when Badwick said, oh, Slug's attack dogs get mad. It's like, who is Slug's attack dogs? Like, what the fuck? Who's Slug? Okay, number one, this is Slug. You give him way too much credit. Do you really think Slug is capable of having anyone do shit for him? He's, literally a joke. That's the thing. That's why I find this.
That's what people
funny.
want us to believe. All right.
No, literally,
I'm not
he's
taking it.
puppet.
No. I know you're gay, Mr. Sen. Don't you come in here and act like there isn't a whole cabal, a whole legion of these little invertebrates rolling around in the grass that are ready to go up and take on arms for Slug. I mean, set aside the thing that they didn't come out for this one. All right, they'll be there. We all know they're there.
I told them in private. I was like, Slug, you're retarded. Have Siggs and Lisa fight your battles for you, I guess, if they want to die on that hill. Maybe Katie too. That's like an old mod, an OG mod. I think.
Is that Emion?
No. Oh, I almost forgot about Emion. Right. Okay, so it's Siggs, Lisa, Emion, and Katie and shit. I'm like, you can have those four try to die on that hill for you, but just keep my people out of it and keep me out of it, and we're good. And that's it. And that was the bottom line. He's like, oh, okay, all right. And then I didn't talk to him for the entire day because I'm like, you're fucking retarded. And I don't want to talk to you because this is annoying. You're annoying. That's how I deal with Slug. I ghost him and I don't talk to him when he's annoying. Because,
when you have open DMs with him, right?
Yeah.
Does he still DM his streams to you? Because that's what all he did with me. He would just constantly DM like when he was
Yeah,
live.
he does that, but he's been posting them on servers now more often. So anytime he goes live, he'll post it in like Parking Tiger server or something.
Yeah.
That's
Also, I wanted to point something out. At one point, Slug goes, I'm watching the stream live, and Slug goes, Riverter, I don't see why you just don't block me. And then I heard that, and I was like, based. I'm going to block him. And so I blocked him. And what does he do? What does he do the next day? He like takes a screenshot. I was like, Matt Pitt's afraid of me.
Matt Pitt's afraid of me. Yeah.
By the way, the only reason I know about that screenshot is because Mitch sent it to me, that Australian. Like, I wouldn't even know about that fucking screenshot if it wasn't for him. Damn.
We leave that Australian genius alone, okay?
Yeah. But yeah, no, I mean, just like that's my point though. Is like, no matter if you block him or something or whatever, like he's still going to be fucking annoying.
My thing with Slug though, right? I do, on some level, I do feel bad for him, right? Because
Why?
I view Slug. No, I do, because I view Slug. Slug is very immature.
You treat him like a pet, Beavers.
Yeah, he did.
Because he is, right?
He's just a little guy.
No,
He's like a
because-
dog that, you know.
No, because if you look at the way that Slug behaves, right, it is almost very childlike, right? If you try and directly confront Slug, like scream at Slug, right, you'll get nowhere. He's just going to scream right back at you, right? He completely closes off, he shuts down, and he does what he did to Riverter, right? You get the flip side, where if you give Slug too much leeway, he'll run away with you, right? If you're wet and you don't hold him accountable, right? And then you get the middle ground. Like, Slug is better now than he ever was, right? And I do think
Redemption arc?
he is. He is a little bit better
not
now
this
than he
game.
ever was.
Not this
When he was because
Beaver, it's Beavers this time.
No,
Hey, look at this.
because
I'm here for it.
no, I'm not saying that you should give Slug a second chance, right? What I'm saying
That's
is,
the 39th chance, all right?
what I'm saying is,
Now I know how
What
you
I'm
guys
saying
feel.
is-
I'm like, no.
There's a WrestleMania one every year. Like, this is
It really
the Slug
is,
Chance
yeah.
40. The 40th anniversary.
ever since I don't know who the fuck convinced him to do this, right? But ever since he slightly eased back on Steve to leave, right? Since he left Steve alone and, you know, that whole thing. He's mellowed. He's mellowed. Now, you know, somebody else could come along and set him off again.
Yeah,
he
he's
has
just saying
mellowed.
that people,
And I
you
do
know,
feel-
almost
Right,
killed his
you know,
parents.
and the
you know,
problem- the
that-
problem
that's
with-
better,
Yeah.
right?
The problem with Slug is I do
Alpha Russ is a murderer.
Right.
I do
yeah.
also think that Slug exists on a bit of an island because of his own doing, right? Because there are two classes of people that interact with Slug. They are newcomers or losers in the community that go to him and he's like, he appears to be friendly, right? And he hooks them in, right? And it goes well for a little bit, and then he fucks up, and then they all jump ship, right? And he's left as the sole captain of his vessel again. But then, on the flip side, there are also people that use Slug very much so to their benefit because they know he exists on an island, right? So that's literally all the interaction that this guy gets is just sad newies and people that want to use him.
No, I just treat him like a
I've made
dog.
myself sad.
For sure. You know, sometimes he shits on the couch. Sometimes you got to scald him. Sometimes you just ignore him, and he, you know, gets
Yeah,
back in
Slug
line.
is no service animal. You know, he's
You
more
should
like
try
a main
beating
child.
him, man.
No, you don't beat animals. That's bad. That's you know.
Roll up the
Only when they deserve it.
We turn to the back of the car.
I think with me, I just have Slug PTSD because I remember I went on Bagwood's stream like a week ago, right when, you know, they were all giving Slug a taste of his own medicine, and Maggot was on there, and Maggot was like, "Yeah, Matt, I just want to hear what's your take on this whole cheese pizza tweet that he made." And I started to feel my face twitch, and I started to hear the ringing in my ears. I was like, no, not again, no.
Matt Pitt, I'm curious, Matt Pitt, what's your opinion on this whole CP thing? Have you ever weighed in on this? I'm just curious what your take is.
Maggot, I've been in the trenches with this for years.
Okay, but what's your take? What's your take?
The take is always the same as it always been. Fuck you, ignore it.
Okay,
Ignore
here's my
him.
point. Okay, did he post or did he not?
No, cut to
Well,
me
it
like
is-
2 years
No,
ago.
but it is true. It also true to a certain degree because nowadays with certain people in the community, you know, when they start talking about this guy has cheese pizza and this guy's a P word and this guy R words people and you know all of that shit, you just go, you look at who's saying it and you go, oh, it's a Tuesday, and you move on. It's like I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing with Slug is he's a pathological liar.
Yeah.
Like you'd agree with me, Sen, right? He's a pathological liar.
Some lies are worse than others. Like he does annoyingly lie about, you know, sometimes it's little white lies, sometimes he tweaks the truth a little bit, sometimes it's like no big deal, but it's still after a while it gets really annoying, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I've had to deal with a lot.
Yeah. I think at one point he said he had a kid for a little while, and then he just stopped talking about that. It's just like
Puerto Rico.
Okay, this is I don't think he'll care about this. I assume he won't, but so I got an explanation to that because I did question him where the kid went and shit because I don't know. This is why I don't take anything Slug says 100%. Like it's like 90% doubt and maybe 10% on a good day of like truth on it. But he told me that apparently the reason he doesn't bring up the kid anymore is because he got a paternity test that said that the kid didn't really belong to him. And that's that's the explanation he gave me for that.
You know what? That's a little bit better than Why So Demented story. So you know what? I'll take it.
Yeah, that's true.
Remember
Wait. Sin, when did he tell you that?
Probably
Don't say
like
March, April. Please don't say March, April.
I don't know, 3 or 4 months ago.
Oh.
I think I might have heard it around that time though, Toxic. I heard it from someone else as well.
Oh, was he trying to cover himself after Demented?
I don't know.
No, do you remember
Oh,
when the
boy.
whole shit with Demented happened and he was like, I believe Demented 100%. I've seen the documents. He's given me all the proof.
Yeah, that was great. I love
They knew
that.
he was in the same boat.
No, I liked it during this stream when he was when they brought up the Demented thing, and then Slug tried to say like, "What do you mean? That wasn't a dox. I just posted a Twitter link." It's like what?
I guess he meant like in the sense of it was public information because it was out there, kind of like with Salbos. So what he's trying to say is like he provided it in private, but it was in public, so it wasn't like he actively sought it.
Yeah. Okay. After Demented said he was going to kill him.
Rolling my eyes.
But like,
Rolling my eyes
told
at
you-
this.
I told you about this, Matt. I'm like Demented. Number one, he's a fucking retard, and
Yeah.
nobody actually thought Demented was ever a threat. I felt more bad for Demented if he ever showed up near Salvo. Number two, nobody gave a shit about Salvo. Nobody still cares about Salvo. If he died, nobody would even care. So why does anybody ever care? I didn't like when Salvo was like, because he was being Salvo, obviously, but he was like, I'm calling the police on Angry Slug and Demented right now. And he was getting so much like love for that. And I'm like, what the fuck, Salvo? Like, really? Like, he was hamming it up, of course. Like, I was in fear for my life. And it's like, no, you weren't. Just like when he was like, I'm in fear of my life of Augie. I went to the Dallas police or some shit. And I'm like, oh my God, it's just the same shit all over again. You just
Sen,
replaced
you do think that was a dox though, right?
the Salvo thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. It had his address, correct?
I believe so.
If it had his full address, then yeah, I
Now
would think
some
so.
have said that it wasn't his real address or something like that. So I don't know for
that's
sure.
up. Well, then that's
Salvo
still
moved
that's
a few
still up.
times, you know?
Yeah, that's still up in
intention
the
was-
air at that point.
The fact remains to me, and I'm not trying to give Slug an out here, but it's just always been the sense that like Slug does dumb things, don't fucking
Things
have
that don't
personal
make
interaction.
sense. Like
Yeah, it
for
just
example,
doesn't make sense.
he literally made a tweet longer saying that he the CP shit or whatever the fuck he said because he thought that was gonna get this one chick off his back or something. I don't know. Any way you look at it, he's not, like I told you at the very beginning. I think he has something mentally wrong with him. Like he's retarded. Actually retarded, and he does these stupid fucking things. That doesn't excuse his shit. That doesn't excuse him from being fucking annoying. Of course, it's just more of like an explanation.
Could a mentally handicapped person do anything under duress? Would they have the mental capacity to be able to understand?
I hate
that kind of
his
sense?
duress. I hate his duress argument because it
So you
makes
don't
no
believe
fucking
it?
sense. Oh fuck no.
So
Why
you think
would
that he
I?
just
Why
said-
would anybody?
So you think what he said he meant when he wrote that?
Well, okay.
No,
what did he specifically write in the tweet longer? I need a
I
refresher.
I'd have to pull it up.
Oh, that whole thing?
Well, the
you're
specific
talking
part about the
one-
CP.
Are you talking about the reply that he did to those links when some guy was
No,
like,
I know
that's the
about
other one.
So in that situation, I know that he did make a deal with the person that he was feuding with, and part of the deal was for Slug to write a twit longer, admitting to, I guess, wrongdoings or something, and leaving it up there. And I don't know who broke that agreement. It was either Slug or the person that's not around anymore. And that's when, Slug deleted the twit longer, and they went back to fighting and stuff. I don't know.
Not the best way for your problems to end with someone.
I don't know anything about that person, but I just really think it's just a terrible thing to dance on somebody who who is dead, unfortunately.
Oh yeah, I told him. I told him this. I said, Slug, the whole mocking the dead.
He glorified. He's like, I'm glad she's dead. I'm
so
glad she's dead.
Regardless of the person, because I didn't hear very much good things about the person, but it's still a dead person that can't really do anything at the moment.
I got to be honest with you, and I'm sure there's evidence. By the way, this is just speculation. Do not send evidence to me about this. But I could totally see that, like, Slug kept talking about her, right? The truce was off. And then the girl was like, I really need you to stop talking about me. And Slug just says, I'll just say you're dead. And then, no, I'll just say you're dead. You're dead. And, I can still talk about you, but you'll be dead, right? I could totally see that as a thing, But I also... Oh, go ahead, Sen.
Oh, no. I mean, I was just going to say that from what I did hear, though, this person wasn't a saint by any means. They were pretty annoying themselves.
Nobody is in this fucking community.
They were bad.
They weren't as bad as Slug, maybe, but they were kind of like, an annoyance, and they went after people for no reason. But, again, it's a dead person. They can't really do anything. And I told Slug, stop doing that because it's fucking annoying, and it got redundant, just like the Alpha Russ thing got fucking redundant. And that kind of brings me to another problem I have with Slug. It's like his victim mentality, or his whole,
perpetual.
He goes ahead, it started with the Ember Lily shit, where he's like, I was sexually harassed by Ember Lily. It's like, how do you get sexually harassed online? He's like, whoa, she was looking at my genitals.
That's what that was.
And it's like, how do you know that? What are you talking about? Slug, you're Angry Slug. I don't believe you got sexually harassed by anybody. And it's almost like, I remember one person, and this isn't to throw shade at her, but I remember Lisa was like, or she gasped or something, like, I didn't believe Slug. It's like, why the fuck would I believe it? Why are you believing him? Like, this doesn't make any sense to me.
Lisa's autistic, bro. She's too autistic for her own good. She's just an innocent autism person.
It's like...
dude. Like, I was literally watching the debate. The debate, like, as soon as the part where he, like, starts fucking just going off and fucking screaming, and it's just like, shut the fuck up.
That was so worth it. That made everything worth it.
Shut the fuck up!
There
like that
go.
part right there.
That's the best thing that came out of that stream.
I'm telling you, it was worth it.
Lisa comes back and she's like, how dare you fucking yell at me? Don't you dare yell at me again. And then she immediately changes her tone, like, hello guys. All right, now that's done, back to talking to Slug. Like, that's just Slug has done a great job cultivating people that are too dumb to realize
it's not a great job in cultivating. It's just if you throw enough shit at the wall, eventually something will stick.
Excuse me, let me rephrase. Slug has gotten lucky enough to cultivate a bunch of people. One last thing about the Minecraft girl. I don't know if I think we talked about this on the Slug episode, but when the Chris Hansen stuff happened, he got confronted by like Mudahar, Edwin, and a bunch of people about how much he was fucking up, and he kept bringing up this guy was fucking all of this up. He kept blaming who was apparently the guy who was dating the Minecraft girl. I don't know, but I was just thinking, like, does even exist? Like, how do we know?
I think that was a Slug IRL friend, I think.
Okay, but how do we know that it's just like another personality of Slug, right? Like, what if like the girl, they're just psychological manifestations that Slug has created? That
would be interesting.
And then so I Bully Bullies, I think, interviewed the girl once, the Minecraft girl. What if it was Slug who just changed his voice? Like, he could do that, and he was just
okay. Here's something. Since we're now shitting on Slug session, one thing that I want to know from Slug, right? Because he'll probably see this. One thing I want to know from you, Slug.
Hi, his chat. Hello, everybody.
You have said on multiple occasions, right, that you were going to travel overseas for business. Right?
Wait, has he?
And yes, in his streams, I have been there when he has said it. Right, like I believe the one time he said he was going to travel to Paris for business.
Can you go international with a service animal?
No,
I'm sure you can.
I don't know, but the point that I'm making is the only jobs that I know of Slug is a butcher and a security guard.
It's a butcher convention.
He's such a character.
Make it make
Yeah.
sense.
Such a character. He goes from being like, whatever, like a butcher to a security guard to a CIA agent.
Yeah, he
to
was
like,
a journalist for a little while.
Yeah, like what the
Right.
fuck?
And he somehow still gets to be able to do a job for Mama Max. So
It's fake it till you make it, but in
Yeah.
Slug's case, it's fake it and just never make it.
yeah.
I could see that. Yeah.
Bringing back the Ember Lily thing you were talking about, Sen, about the sexual harassment thing. Hasn't Slug been accused of that by like a couple girls as well? Like that Spider Centaur person at one point?
Okay, so the spider thing was more of like people telling her, hey, are you sure you weren't sexually harassed by Slug? Hey, are you sure? So it was like I was literally there when it was all happening and shit, and it was more of like we don't like Angry Slug, so hey, let's ask you, hey, are you sure you weren't sexually harassed by Angry Slug? If you see the DMs between them, she initiated, so I don't think she was very forced to do anything. So that's just a fact.
Okay.
Wow.
When it comes to what was the second Ember Lily thing?
Yeah,
Was it- multiple people. Okay, with the maggot edits thing. So I think she just did that because she was fed up with Slug doing it to Ember for no reason. I don't think that because I mean, why are you? You were very chummy with Slug. You were showing photos to Slug. You showed photos to me, and I didn't really ask for them. If I remember correctly, I would have to go back and So I don't think it was a case of Slug being predatory. The only time,
Yeah, it was a rhetorical point for Maggot.
Yeah. The only time I would consider Slug to be weird, like extremely weird to the point where I had to leave and it was very uncomfortable, was the Craig Beckett situation, which, to be fair, he was in there with Victor Burns, and I completely fucking forgot Victor Burns
Really?
was taking part in that, because
I didn't know that.
I say this with the most, like, not to be insulting, but I just forget Victor's around sometimes because
That's fair enough. He's you forget he's around. He's always around. So
I'm
You're
like,
giving
oh
Sen,
shit,
stop talking about him. You're giving him anxiety, dude. Come on.
Like, yeah, that's the one thing that me personally, I would be like, yeah, it's pretty fucking weird, dude. And I thought it was weird of Victor because he's like 46, and this chick, again, like, you know about her, she's like 18, and then there's the Craig Beckett shit, and Slug's like 26 or 27. He's not a spring chicken himself. So as you see these two men and her like whoring herself out in front of them, and them like talking about how they're both gonna fuck her and shit, and I'm like, yeah, I can't fucking listen to this. I'm out. Even some of like my regulars were like, what the fuck is he doing? We're out. And I'm like, yeah, it's fucking disgusting. That's the only time I would look at Slug as like, that's weird. But I don't think she was against it because she obviously
she ain't no victim, bro.
Yeah.
She ain't no victim.
Who made that argument, by the way?
She fucking took down Now Recording's best editor, right?
No,
and then thumbnail artist, and then less than 6 months later was whoring herself out on Twitter. All right.
Yeah.
Damn.
And then,
which is go
then
ahead.
she stopped whoring herself out on Twitter because she had got a boyfriend, right? And then I go into I can't remember, I think it was Badwick stream or whatever. And, people like her. She pops in and she's like, oh, my throat hurts. Okay, no, she comes in earlier. She says, oh, I've got company over, can't be here for too long. Right? Comes back later. She's like, oh, my throat hurts. So then I think it was Victor Burns or somebody in chat is like, oh, I'm sorry. I hope you feel better, right? Are you sick? And she says, no, I'm not sick. I have company over.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Okay. That's
Well, like, I want to like the Emmy and Echo tragedy thing though, and this is another like kind of like shot at Slug, sort of. Like the thing with the Echo thing, and this is an example of how Slug plays semantics. I think he'll get on Echo for the fucking knowing Emmy, before she turned 18, and then like immediately,
even though there's
on
no
her.
court documents to say that's true.
Yeah, if we're using Slug's logic, right? yeah. But regardless, even if you want to use that and stuff, but it's like Slug will use these semantics where it's like, I'm like, hey, didn't you do the same thing? And then he's like, well, you see, I actually waited 5 months though, and if you ask her, she will say that what I did was fine and she didn't feel pressured. And I'm like, that's not the point. You're playing semantics right now, number one. Number two, you should have never done it because you also knew her before she turned 18. It doesn't matter if you took a little break, in between. It's still, to me, creepy, dude. You knew her when she was 17, and then you proceeded to hit on her later in a very, very explicit way with Victor Burns, of all people. It was fucking nasty. It was nasty.
Oh, Slug was hitting on minors. Oh my god.
Whoa.
He was hitting on a minor 5 months after they weren't a minor anymore. There you go.
Oh,
Yeah, there you
so okay.
Somebody he knew to I guess it would be more accurate to say he was hitting on someone who used to be a minor, but then I guess that's a lot of people.
Fresh meat.
Yeah, but what my point with the Ember Lily thing is don't you think he could maybe understand because he's been people have gone after him for this stuff, maybe I shouldn't throw this at Ember Lily, maybe she didn't mean it like that, But
yeah,
no, because he was mad. That's why he did it.
Yeah,
it wasn't because he was seriously upset. That's why. Yeah.
My thing with Ember Lily and the reason you could never get sexually harassed by an Ember Lily, right, is because of how Ember Lily looks and acts. Okay, there's nothing for you to gain in that interaction. As time goes on, maybe you felt a little bit uncomfortable now, but who knows? In a couple of months, who knows what might happen? I don't want anything to happen. So as soon as you do something weird to me, I'm blocking you and running.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, maybe. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was going to say that also ties in with another Slugism and what he did with Alpha Russ, right? So the Alpha Russ situation where he was preaching for multiple months about Alpha Russ tried to kill my mother, or Alpha Russ assisted in trying to get my mother killed. It's it was very annoying because it's Slug, you were on call with Alpha Russ multiple times, being very friendly with him and even saying very sexual things to him, if I remember correctly. And that's a lot of love to give to somebody that almost tried to get your mother killed.
Yeah. Yeah. By the way, Alpha Russ should deserve to be judged too as well, because when we started bringing in Slug to call into Shop from the Point, he was one of the guys that would come into the VCs on Shop from the Point Discord server and be like, guys, you can't have Slug on. You can't be around this guy, all right? He's a bad guy. He's bad news. He's bad news. Then less than a year later, he's going on streams with the fucking guy, all right? You get what you fucking deserve.
That's right.
Well, the thing with Russ is I don't think he's malicious. I also think he suffers from a little bit of what Slug has, and that's retardation.
Oh God,
because
yes.
he's I don't know if you were around with this map, but remember this was a while back, but he showed Steve DeLeeb's docs, and I think it was his home.
I remember that. Yes.
By accident, while he was trying to basically he made a thread where his intentions weren't to dox Steve. But he doxed Steve in the process, his house.
Also, in his Twitter thread, he made it about wrestling for some reason. If you Alpha will make everything about wrestling.
Let's go.
Oh God.
But yeah.
Do you think? So with a Slug and an Alpha, since you're drawing parallels, do you think it is because they have the Todd? They are Todds, right? Because something about Alpha Russ and people like Slug and stuff like that is whenever something goes down, right? They almost like Mango. Right? They're always there.
Yeah.
They're just always there, bro. Anytime anything happens that is shady, Alpha Russ is in that fucking Discord server. He was in that VC with them. Now, do I necessarily think that he's the mastermind behind all of this, right? No, right? But I don't know. He's just always there.
I think
he's
it is
like Huggy. He's like Huggy, bro.
Yeah.
He's like Huggy and fucking Doug. They're always there.
I think it's an autistic thing, right? When shit's going down and shit's getting weird, we have the wherewithal to be all right, we're just not gonna interact with that. We're just gonna back off here. They don't have that, so they're just in the shit, bro. They're just knee deep in that shit, just walking around. I don't think they have the social awareness to realize hey, this might be a bad situation eventually. Maybe I should get the fuck out, All right, so PeePaw Riverter, we've been shitting on Slug for a good while. Does anyone have any criticisms? Any more criticisms of PeePaw Riverter?
Yes.
Just to make it fair. Go for it.
Fat, old, lose weight, fatty,
old.
get younger, old person, fucking L.
He sucks at Five Nights at Freddy's. No. But also, I wanna preface it with he's a very important part to my morning. All right, with my breakfast, coffee, and coffee. All right.
Mm.
So when I say this, it's like for this situation.
Dick sucker.
I don't understand why. Yes, true. I don't understand why I had to go to YouTube at all. It was a PeePaw W on Twitter, even though it lasted like what 3 days straight. It's like nonstop. But as soon as he went on that stream, it flipped because you can't get a W on Slug. It just never works. You can't. You can't do it.
I could do it.
You can't do it.
I
No,
did
you
it.
can't.
I did it
When?
multiple times.
When?
No, I just do. Well, so I think I told River, I think I said River, like, hey, if you really want to like get Slug, just fucking confront him face to face or whatever. Because it's happened, it's gone well with me in the sense that like he's spurging out about me. I go on stream, everything kind of calms down. But at the same time, it's a lot more heated in this situation. But you know,
No, but you see,
just objectively though,
No,
Slug gave us an apology though, so Slug even thinks he took the L.
I'm going to admit that I made some false accusations, such as with Echo of Tragedy. Now, Jessica, I want to apologize for calling Scott a pedophile and a rapist and a domestic abuser. Yeah, I get it. You're a very vindictive person. You're white trash. But my false accusations shouldn't be used. So I'm sorry. Now, Leia, I've already apologized to you about what I said about your work and everything of that sort. Riveter, I'm sorry I ever made a false allegation towards you. D-Max, you are clearly a better content creator than me, and always will be. This definitely is the real Slug talking, by the way. Flatly, I did make a false accusation against you at one point. I do apologize for it. And yeah, I was right about Alpha Russ though. Fuck him.
He doesn't believe that though. Like,
He gave us an apology. He gave us an apology.
Apology gives Slug gives apologies out like it's fucking like bottled water.
Yeah,
bro.
that's fine. Yeah, because all he does is takes L's. That's what I'm saying. So it's like, listen, I'm just saying, objectively speaking, Reverter did take the W here.
No, but Yerix, I don't think so.
You're treating Slug like a normal person.
I really don't think so, bro. Because you see, the difference is, Mats was like, I can own him, right? But the difference is, Slug does respond to logic, right? Calm logic. Well, Slug will respond to you in a decent way. Whether he means it or not is a different story, right? But when you go on there and you try play Slug's game, it just turns into a retard fight, which is essentially what
everything
that
you just
was.
said, Beavers, is going to have a big long beep, and it's just going to have your microphone muted, and then I'm going to say that I actually took the W. So.
I had a couple notes here about Slug. I mean Riveter here. Riveter tries to butt in because none of this is a part of Riveter's point. Huge Riveter L when he said, I gave Slug a chance and he betrayed my trust. You get what you fucking deserve, Riveter.
Exactly.
He warned you, Riveter.
That's
he warned
another
you.
thing.
Oh, this
That's
psycho.
another thing, right?
Okay, but that wasn't a point for Slug. That was a point for the other people in the call, though.
That's kind of like I kind of like a question on that with the whole I gave Slug a chance point that's been made. It looks like nonstop, whether it's by like people like Victor or I guess D-Max or Riveter. Sure. Were you guys really unaware of all the stupid shit Slug had done up until this point?
I can't speak for any of them, but for me, 100%, I did not. Like my first interaction was.
Ignorance of the law is not an excuse, D-Max.
I agree with you. I agree with you now because actually the point had been made, and we, this is in another talk that we had like after that. But it's just like the idea is like fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me, kind of a thing. I was looking at it as if it was like I didn't have any forewarning, and I'm the type of person who I want to see it for myself. I'm not like really just like a trust me bro kind of guy. So like where I was at was, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. But now I think my perspective is if there's a lot of people telling you that there has been a shame on me type situation already haven't happened, then it's shame on me because that is like the second or third or fourth or whatever thing. It's not the first time for somebody. I trust you guys. I should have just taken your word for it. So I'm willing to take the L on that.
Slug is like a very infamous person. So like, I assume that any of the things that have been said recently about him or brought to his attention to use against him have been, carried around here and there by people, whether it's just in casual conversation or just in general. And it's kind of like, well, why would you want to associate your brand with that? And the whole tipping point for Slug, out of his Good Boy arc, it looked like it was the Demented thing where he just, passed on the public, Twitter account of this thing to Demented, which he then walks back in the next 3 messages, which confuses me into thinking, why did you even do that in the first place? Did you try to look cool?
Yeah, why would you share a docs?
Yeah, so it's kind of like
Why would you share
it's kind of like that, but I don't know, like that's just my point of view. It seems like everybody.
I can't speak for anybody else. I was totally unaware of commentary between the times of 2017 to 2021. I don't even remember when I came in. I didn't look. I didn't know who Slug was. I had
Was
to be
that
filled in on all
moment
that.
what really was the end for you, D-Max? Like, was that the whole?
It was. I mean, there
Demented
was definitely
thing?
there was some other stuff that was. See, the thing was that it wasn't like we were trying to be best friends with the guy or anything. It's a general idea of altruism, and honestly, Beavers had kind of laid this at our feet at some point about some other things, talking about maybe our side of the community more fun commentary or commentary too, right? It's just generally, I think that we're all just happy people. We want to just believe the best in people. We think people can mess up and that you can do better. And so I don't think that there's any problem with giving somebody a second chance, especially since, and this might surprise everybody, I'm going to say this, doxing in most places is not against the law, okay? And there is circumstances where you might accidentally dox somebody or maybe not be aware of the stigma around it or something like that. So there are some circumstances where maybe if it's a first-time offense, I might be able to look at it and go, I don't know, don't do it again, don't really love it, but that's where we were approaching this from, or at least that's where I was approaching that from. So as soon as I saw more evidence that Slug is just going to do what Slug does, and this is what Slug does, and I had egg on my face now, and all of you assholes have been, saying it ad nauseum that I always should have known, and you're 100% correct. That's why you got to do it. That's why you got to go the other way. No, you're right. No, you're right. You say it as many times as you need to, because I need to hear that. No, it's true.
No, but what ends up happening with Slug, and I hate it, right, is Slug is walking along. He's got 10 fucking bodies lined up in a chain. He's pulling a chain gang of dead people along with him, right? And everybody is standing shoulder to shoulder with him, not looking behind them, and they're going, this is fine, this is fine, this is fine. Then he stabs somebody in the fucking chest, adds him to the back.
Yeah.
Then, right, it's not that he stabbed somebody in the chest why people jump ship with Slug, right? Then they start getting shit for being associated with Slug.
Right.
And then they all jump ship. It's not the fact that he just stabbed somebody in the chest and added them to the chain gang and keeps marching on, right?
Yeah.
It's literally because they get shit for it.
Yeah,
I'll
I'll ask D-Max this, I guess. D-Max, does optics play a part in you wanting to disassociate with Slug personally as well?
See, the thing is, I'm not really I'm not, people are going to laugh at this and probably take it out of context or something. I'm not so much an optics guy as much as I am just my own personal morals and ethics kind of guy. I don't sit here and go optically this would be better or something like that. It's not like that. The reason why I distance myself from Slug is because I believe him to be a bad person. That's it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I think what it is, right, is you're in the Commentary 2 mansion having a good time, right? We're still in the Commentary 1 diner, downridden diner, torn to the floor. We got cigarette in one hand, a coffee in the other hand. And we're seeing Slug get up from the diner and go outside, and he's going to the Commentary 2 house. And we're like, I got to get on the phone and call Commentary 2.
You're not invited.
Yeah, and we're just sitting there just he's fine. Look, whatever. He's going to spend some drinks at the table. It's going to be great. Who cares, right? And then he starts wrecking the shit, and you're like, oh, that's what they meant.
The thing that always amazes me with people is when maybe it's just because I've been online for a very long time, right, in this community. But as soon as I meet somebody, I think I've done it with Sen as well, and I've done it with Matt, not so much the other two. But I've done it with you two, right? Where if I don't know somebody, right, I've heard of them or I'm trying to make a decision about them, right, I go and I ask people, who the fuck is this? Where are they from? How do I know them? You know what I mean? And then I build my starting bridge off of that. That is how I approach things. And then I make a decision. People don't do that. They just go in gun-ho. And look at, you even do it IRL. If there's somebody that susses you out or gives you a bad vibe IRL, you go to a friend, you go to a coworker and you say, you know that guy? Is he cool? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like
I don't
something like
disagree. I don't disagree with that.
And
I
to be
don't
fair
really
to
have anything
D-Max,
to-
it's not just
yeah.
him doing this, right? And
No,
I think when it comes to it, I think you could criticize Riverter even more than D-Max in this situation because Riverter has been around this community for a lot longer. So I feel like I think Riverter is just too nice of a guy, right? Oh, I'll give you a chance, old buddy. Oh, you didn't stab me in the back. Oh, darn. You know, like.
I mean, you got to keep in mind too. I'm the type of guy who I would like to go every once in a while on like weekends and stuff. I would go just like take a walk around the park in Orlando, and there'd be homeless people and vagabonds of all sorts, and I would just go up and start talking to them and stuff. And a lot of them would tell me, "Oh yeah, I was like a murderer and stuff," and I would be like, "Oh yeah," and I like learn some of their names and stuff and give them like like random stuff from Publix and stuff like. So like that's me.
Hey, Jack
you know
the
what I mean?
Murderer, here you go. Here's
He's on a redemption arc. I mean, he's on a good boy arc. I don't know. He hasn't killed anybody recently.
I can tell you, I can now see the difference in our approach to that, right? I also do charitable things for the homeless and the guy that's hungry sitting there on the street, who I can clearly tell is a drug addict, right? But the reason I give him money is because I'm going to solve my problem one of two ways. Either he's going to go buy heroin and he'll die tonight, or he's going to get food and he's no longer going to be begging and bumming me out, right? That's why I do it. I feel like there's a fundamental difference between
that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
how we approach
I think you're
the
right.
situation.
I think
Yeah,
you're right.
I can't do that because I was in Miami and someone walked up to my car at like midnight.
Oh no,
And I'm not fucking doing that.
No, Miami vagrants are a whole other. These are Orlando vagrants. All right, I'll do that with them all day. If I go to Miami, it's a whole different thing. If I'm in Miami or Tampa, hell no, absolutely not.
Well, I think we've covered pretty much. Is anything we're missing that anyone wants to bring up that we missed out?
Oh, I have a question. I do have one
Okay.
little question for Mr. Sen. Do you believe that Slug has a boyfriend? Sorry, a girlfriend?
Boyfriend.
A girlfriend?
I believe it.
A boyfriend-free girl?
I believe he has a girlfriend.
Yeah.
Jesus, it's like a coin toss, to be honest. I don't fully believe him, but it's probable.
I will
Just
say
curious.
this. I will say this. Slug once came into the Shot from Point server. I think it was on a stream, and he turned his camera on, and he was with a girl, but this was like 2 years ago. So I'm not going to say he's not completely around.
It's not
women.
impossible. Like,
Listen,
I'm not
yeah,
going to
it's
sit
not
here and say
impossible.
like it's impossible that he's with. No, I'm just saying that like it's highly unlikely given.
I don't know,
the
but
Yo, I wanna
like
go-
whenever.
I want to
Oh,
go
sorry,
super,
Toxic.
real quick. I'm going to go super terminally online here, right? When he called into wherever it was and he was like, I'm in an Uber, all right? There was
Oh
no
yeah,
sound.
lyrics.
There was no.
Yeah,
You know how normally, like, you can hear when someone calls in on the phone?
that was a bad idea.
When you call in your phone, you can kind of hear that they're in a car? Nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sounded like he was in his room still.
Yeah, do you
Like,
think he
there's no
found a
background
corner in his
sound.
room? And
Yeah.
just like,
Yeah.
he's just like,
No, because
No,
again,
that's
I
where he
did it-
dropped the ball. Like, to me, he could have just, if he was in a car full of people or she was right there near him, I don't see the danger or the harm in her saying one thing to a stream. Like, there's no fucking harm that would have come to her. His excuse didn't make any sense at all.
He said so originally in that call with Lyrics. He said that he was in a car with a bunch of people. Then he said he was in an Uber with his girlfriend. So if I'm taking it at his word for both of those statements, then what that would imply is that he's in the car with an Uber driver with the girlfriend and at least one other friend. All right. First of all, why would you get on a commentary call while you're in an Uber going to DC for a date with your girlfriend, but especially if there's a third wheel in the car? But then let's take it another step and say, okay, it wasn't a third wheel situation. It was now a double date, right? Or some situation like that. Now there has to be some sort of noise in the car. So none of it makes any sense.
Yeah.
yeah.
What I will
That's my
say that
autism.
gives him benefit of the doubt that he may have a girlfriend, but it can go either way, is that he does have that stupid dog, right?
Is this dog a male or a woman? Or a female?
He calls him white boy,
I didn't mean it fucking that way. You freak. I meant it that like I
They just
assume he
told
does
me I
go,
fucked my dog.
I assume
Called me
She's
a
a bitch.
pedophile.
Yeah, look at that.
I assume he does go to college because that would be the longest con. Because I've been watching him for like almost a year now doing college work on his streams, right? So if that's fake, he's really
Listen,
committed to it.
I'm not gonna lie.
But he goes to
I'm
the college
convinced
with his dog.
That's a service dog. That's a service dog. I'm convinced.
You're
Well,
not
no
the
shit.
first person.
Oh
to
no
think
shit!
that.
He takes it to you. He takes it to his college.
Yeah,
He
I
said
think
it's
a
not.
service dog.
He said it's not.
He says a
I
lot
thought
of
it
things.
was. I thought it was. One of my friends also thought it was. That's cool with Slug. And then he was like, "No, it's not a service
And I want to
dog
be
at
clear.
all."
There's nothing wrong with that, by the way. Like, I don't think that should be a point of shame or anything. I'm just saying that, like, let's call a spade a spade.
Colleges? No, but my thing is, do colleges let you take your dog into the college and then like sit at the lunch table and in your classes with the dog? Because he has posted photos of him supposedly at his college with his dog, right?
No,
So that would
only service dogs.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's why I've always assumed it's a service dog, right? Because he's taking it places where he shouldn't be able to take a normal dog. Like, if I took a dog onto my university campus, they'd chase me away. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is what
They
it
try
is.
to eat
But
it.
anyway, that dog is a pussy magnet.
That's why he brings it to Hooters and stuff. Have you ever seen his dog blog? Have you ever seen his dog blog? He
God.
literally takes that dog to Hooters in one of the videos.
A slug going
I
to
think
Hooters.
I saw
is,
that. I think I saw. I
that's
think
an
fucking
image.
Flatley was reacting to it.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, by the way, I do I wanna bring this up about Slug. I keep telling him about this karma bullshit that he keeps doing to himself, and it's very funny because this happened today. So, in one of his, I think it was, oh shit, it was the Riveter stream where, yeah, it was actually that stream. So, I think that live stream got taken down by YouTube because in one of the rants, when Slug is going on his rants, he's repeating the DM messages Maya had when she was talking about the kids and shit. So he read them verbatim, and CJ Brown tags Team YouTube and says, "Hey, Team YouTube, this is dangerous for child exploitation and stuff." So then the next day, Slug gets hit with like a strike and his video's taken down, and he's flipping out and shit.
Yeah.
Which, it's a bitch move by CJ Brown, of course. But then I thought back, hey, 3 days ago, let me see. Let me go to a tweet from Slug. The confirmed pedophile Flatly Gaming is re-uploading used content from, and then he tags the person he's like doing the reaction to, the band, and he's like, I think you should copyright strike him. And he's going on about how he hopes that Flatly loses a channel. Now, I'm not friends with this Flatly guy. I don't know much about them other than the Chris the Narc thing. Chris the Narc is really close with me, and then Matt's like, they're not really that close, and I'm just like, lol.
Yeah,
okay.
We don't care for the guy either.
Yeah, so, but the point stands that, like, Slug, you're calling this guy a pedophile, number one. Then I tell you, why you calling this guy a pedo? And he's like, I'm just memeing, bro, which is not a good excuse.
It's just a troll.
Yeah, and then you're tagging, like, you can think what you want about reaction content. Some people have made it very well known how they feel about reaction content with the Sniper Wolf thing and stuff, and just reactions in general. But at the end of the day, you're still trying to bring attention to take down this video or the channel or something, right? Well, CJ just did the same thing to you, and you got fucked. Now, Flatly didn't get fucked. You got fucked. So I can't sympathize with you because this is what you call bad karma, Slug. You do this shit all the fucking time. Then it happens to you. Then you get in victim mode. Then you get hot-headed. Like, I can't, like, you need to realize this. You need to stop doing this, man.
Yeah, I think that is the most annoying thing Slug does is going into victim mode when he's actually done stuff like that before. It is so infuriating to watch.
Whenever people talk about like karma now, I just can't help but think about the karma incident that we had earlier in the year, where somebody was laughing at a house burning down or whatever.
Okay.
I'm just saying, like, I don't know. It's just, that's where my mind goes now. Whenever people talk about like karma in relation to content, I'm just like thinking about that. Like, huh? Honestly, I more so brought it up just to say that if somebody's house burns down, that would be a real bummer. They would end up having to spend a lot of money, on
and I don't have that ready. Fuck, I forgot.
Yeah, that's what I was doing.
I wanted to ask Sen one question.
Yo.
Right, about Slug.
Yeah.
Why do you have such a soft spot for him? You really do. You would normally a guy like Slug, right? You would eat him alive.
He has eaten him alive before, I think.
Yeah,
well, you do eat him alive, right? Like you do, but you always come back. You know what I mean? Like you always you understand he's an idiot, right?
Yeah,
but you still talk to him and you still engage with him and shit like that.
Well, I guess
whereas with a lot of guys, you would just throw them to the side.
Well, I guess that's where like me and D-Max's idea on what malicious or evil really is. I mean, I look at Slug and I just look at him like you do, like he's an idiot. Does he do bad things? Yeah, of course he does. Does he do over the top shit? I mean, he's teetering. I made like 3 demands of him the other day. I was like, okay, so these are the 3 things you need to do so I never cut you off. 1, never become a pedophile. 2, never become a killer. 3, never pick on the weak. That was the one that I kind of left out in the oven. Don't pick on the weak. Those are the 3 things. If you don't do those 3 things, I don't have to get rid of you. And he was like, deal. So it's like, as long as it's like that, it's like, yeah, he's a bad guy. I can reel him in from time to time. I know he won't really cross a line. Like, the biggest line that he's crossed so far, I guess, is like the mocking of the dead repeatedly, and it's really fucking annoying. And I told him, stop doing that shit, because it pissing me off now. Because it's like, I mean, that would fall under like category 3. You're picking on the weak. You're picking on somebody that's dead. It doesn't get much weaker than somebody that's dead, Slug. So stop fucking doing that shit, and I'll yell at him whenever. But as I stated, if he gets way too annoying, I just, I'm gonna ghost you. But and the soft spot, I guess, would be like, yeah, he is very much like a dog. I told you, like, I treat him like a dog. Like, he's like an animal. He's just there. He can be a good, decent conversation. Like, he's not, it's not all bad with him. Like, I don't know if you guys have ever had combos with him. He could be a decent chatter.
He just said "cummy wummies" over and over.
Yeah, that shit. He stopped doing that shit. Like, he used to do it way too much.
He's sexually harassing everybody. He says that too. I mean, come on, man.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. And plus, Slug is literally not even a threat to me. He's never would be. So it's
he's
just
not
like
a threat to anybody. Yeah.
And
I want to just make sure it's clear. I don't necessarily think that Slug is evil. My problem is not so much that I think that he's going to go out and try to do nefarious things. It's more so that he's insanely irresponsible with the things that he does and says, and just his actions just in general. And I just think that is it's to the point to where I would say that it's like okay, I'll be grossly charitable and say it's probably like 60-40, 60 bad, 40 good kind of a thing. But the swings that he takes and the extremes that he goes to for certain things, that's what makes it so that he's just, I can't. There's no scenario where I would even advocate anybody to be around the guy just because of that.
I guess dangerous. There's also this whole, I guess I know, like, the way he talks with, like, the allegations being thrown out, and they're obviously, like, the allegations he throws out, whether he's calling you, like, a child rape, whatever, fancy term he comes up with in his mind, it's akin to the whole sector mindset and the sector bullshit and the blood sports and the Ethan Ralph side of things. That's what happens a lot. Actually, a lot of the shit Slug does, it's like a tame version of what people like Hugin and all them do in the sector, and even Salvo's around there now. It's basically that. I guess Slug is like a more light version of the sector as well.
You don't say.
I always kind of figured like you guys got along because, and this is just me speculating at the time, he was kind of like the catalyst for when you and Steve your friendship kind of went to shit. And
Steve lost his mind over it.
Yeah, so I always kind of thought you kind of kept him around because he's like, yeah, this is the reason why I hate Steve to leave right here. Like, this is my boy because he reminds me every time I talk to him.
Like a replacement?
Yeah, well, not a replacement, just
or catalyst,
he reminds you about Steve Bleep, or whatever. Like, you guys share the same, and the enemy of my enemy is my friend, and then you just kind of.
I think that's how it started, kind of initially. But it changed as I think was it D-Max that mentioned? No, it wasn't D-Max because he would never say anything positive about Slug. It was Beavers, I think. He said, who got Slug to stop obsessing over Steve all that much and stuff. Yeah, I think it was Beavers.
Yeah.
Somewhere along that, he just doesn't really mention him that much anymore. It's not really a key point to where we bond over that shit, which, those things never end up well anyway. Like, the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Yeah, I imagine it's kind of like, it's like you have a friend when you're in the military or something like that, and then you guys finally make it home. Like you both live, you make it home or whatever, and then it's just like now that you're not like in a foxhole, literally getting like gunfire over your heads, you're having a beer with the dude, and you're just like, you're kind of weird, aren't you? Yeah, like I don't. Okay.
Yeah, it's not really bonding over the Steve thing anymore so much as like he's okay, I guess. Like again, Sector Light. He keeps things somewhat interesting here and there. The fucking bullshit he does to other people, though, I can see why it would get under people's skin. Like he's constantly tagging people. He's running like mini smear campaigns, and it's good that he's treated as pretty much a nobody with no real pull or relevance. And I'm not saying this to take the piss out of Slug or because I hate him or anything. I'm just pointing out the facts. He is literally a nobody that doesn't have credibility because of the shit he does. He'll maybe get lucky here and there, but he'll immediately fuck it up. Like with Leo Convoy, or with like I don't know what's going on with Max. I don't know if Max is going to dump him.
I see the second time.
I see Max kind of doing his own kind of conundrum right now. That's like, I don't want to call it a downward spiral, but it's kind of questionable ethics on his end too. So
Yeah,
I looked at it as like Slug is a less successful version of Max.
No, and that's funny that you say that because that was we were on stream. I wasn't really privy to a lot of the Mom and Max stuff before we did that stream. But during the conversation that he had with Lyrics, he ended up pulling in the victim and basically trying to use her as a shield. That's exactly what Slug did when he was having a conversation with PeePaw. Remember that?
Yeah. He does that.
It's just like
very annoying.
That's crazy. Like it's just like that's not.
Right.
She was there under duress.
Okay, and you have just proven my point, D-Max. This is why doing what.
No, I was just drawing a parallel. I was just saying that they're similar.
There's a parallel. There's a parallel there, and let me finish my point.
Sure.
That is why giving Slug the attention you guys did is a very dangerous game. Because Slug is a Mama Max waiting to happen. Right? Like Sen said, he'll eventually fuck it up, but if that ball of shit starts rolling, right, it's going to take out a lot of shit on the way, right? Like, can you imagine if Slug, let's say, like Slug, I don't know how many viewers he got, but like when I tuned in, there were 30, right? Imagine a Slug with 200 people watching him, right? 200 idiots that are willing to buy Slug's lies. That is very scary.
Be salvo.
That is scary.
Yeah, be salvo.
True.
Yeah, but I think there'd be more hate and vitriol than with Salvo. Salvo just throws shit to the wall and laughs at people while they go after them.
Yeah,
Slug
I'm just trying to justify. Honestly, that's just me trying to justify my last video. Is really what that is.
Slug would be Napoleon on the front lines, charging into battle. Yeah, right? He would lead his legion of retards.
Yeah, Salvo's an actor playing Napoleon. Slug is Napoleon. You know what I mean? So
I'll take it.
So I did want to have one question for you, D-Max. I know that Riveter said he's done. He's done. Are you done responding to Slug? Done interacting with Slug?
No, he's not.
My question was,
Oh,
let me ask the question, Beavers. My question to you was, are you done? Because I'm going to tell you this right now. Slug is not going to stop. He's going to keep mentioning you guys. He's going to keep even apologies, anything like that. Doesn't matter. Just push that to the side. He's going to keep talking about Maggot. He's going to keep talking about Flatley. He's going to keep talking about you.
Again, this was, for me, I can't speak for anybody else, but for me, this was never about like trying to convince Slug or trying to change Slug's mind or necessarily even like the people around him. It was more so just like, I don't know, boredom. It was just like it was just it felt a little bit nice. I saw a vector that I could experience, that sort of a life, and I just wanted to try it just to see what it would feel like. And I gotta say, it was not fulfilling, and I can see why all those people who do that kind of thing are terribly and miserable. Because I felt terrible and miserable the entire time I was doing it. But it was for a good cause, which was content. You're welcome, every pony.
You definitely
that D-Max ran.
I didn't run, you fucking assholes. That's not what happened.
Yeah, you're trying to get him on fucking now recording.
No, wait a minute. Which is it supposed to be? Am I not supposed to go on his streams, or am I supposed to go on his streams? Which is it? I'm damned if I do, damned if I don't. You guys suck.
I was like, wait, fucking Slug's gonna debate Max on now recording? What?
I mean, if he would have done it, I think it would have been It would have been
You
something.
know what's funny? You know what's funny about that? I was actually the one that told Slug, "Hey, choose D-Max."
Oh, really?
That's why he chose D-Max.
Why?
Yeah.
Why
I thought
me?
it would be the most entertaining, shit show. Because like
See,
you're very,
yeah.
I looked at your like, I think I guess I want to call them theatrics or something. Well, your interactions with people like Victor Burns and like really over the top shit, and I'm like, if we mix that in with Slug being a Spurg, that could be really entertaining. I want to be entertained right now. Slug, choose D-Max. Jessica Fizzle's more of a snooze fest, and Riverter would actually take it very seriously, which I was like, Riverter's probably gonna win, but I don't care about that. I just want to be entertained. Slug, choose D-Max. So he chose you.
Proof positive though, that wouldn't have lasted very long because I would have done what I do, and he probably would have just booted me from the call because I'm still hidden in his chat, as far as I know. I haven't checked, to be fair.
Oh yeah, he got tired.
Yeah, he hid me and he hid Jessica. So, and then I was accused of running, which is
Dude,
really funny.
it's funny because Jessica was giving him money for this shit, and he would delete the bet. I'm like, wait, does that mean you don't get the money, or do you still get the money? Because that's if you don't get the money anymore off of that, you're fucking stupid. Like you can't control your impulses. Just take the money, idiot.
I will say this. I think you guys really did get under his skin because that's the maddest I've ever seen him react in that way.
And that honestly was the point. That honestly was the point. So everybody who got the yelling clips, you're welcome.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at this point,
By the way, you can tell he's not very confident with the yelling.
Yeah, because he does it for short bursts, and he does almost that like
he does it, and you could hear his voice like almost cracked while he was doing it. He's not very. It's not his native form of speech.
My favorite part of that whole thing was when he had to reel it back, like he realized like yelling was making it like a bigger L. So he was just like, I am being so calm right now, Riverter. if you make me yell again.
I thought it was funny that his autistic friends caught the stray. You know, it wasn't the Riverter.
I know, and that's honestly what got me hidden because I was like, keep yelling at your co-host. That's hilarious. He hated that because
in fairness, it is very annoying when a bunch of autistic people are interrupting you in a VC. So I understand.
But he didn't want a moderator. He didn't want a moderator though.
Yeah, the funny part was he was doing that, and then Leo would call in, and then she started yelling. He's like, "Oh my god, I got a headache! Shut up!"
Oh yeah. No, Leah calls in, and he's not listening. Sen calls in, and he concedes that on the point.
Yeah, because like the thing is, I don't know. Leah came in like guns ablazing. It felt like she was just wanted to vent stress about him more so, or she couldn't control the anger close enough to just get to the point, or maybe it's just because Slug doesn't really respect her that much. To begin with. I mean, it could have been a combination of all those things, but yeah, like when after that, I'm like, this is get Lisa, Siggs, and Emion fucking out of here. What the fuck are they even doing here? Just me, you, and Leo, and I'm gonna tell you everything wrong with you, and I'm gonna tell Leo why he needs to consider this, I guess, or why he's like, he looks like he's being biased towards Slug and shit, because I mean, what it comes down to, it's like, and not that I'm pushing for this to happen, or I just, because Slug at the end of the day, yeah, he is a friend, but I can't sugarcoat anything for him or from him and stuff, and he hasn't had an issue with that, so that's a good thing. But Leo, you can't go around saying like, I'm this pedo hunter vigilante and I take things super seriously about, sexual assault or victims and stuff like that. And then you have Slug making like false accusations for years and continuing. Like even I think he did the Flatley thing 2-3 days ago. And I'm like I didn't bring it up because I'm like, I can't be fucked. But he literally did this like 2 or 3 days ago. Leo, it's all over the place. And you, as a pedophile hunter or whatever you want to go ahead and say you are, this isn't a good look. It's a brand risk, if you will, or it shows that you don't really hold the principles that you proclaim to have them if you continue to associate with somebody that crosses those lines all the time. The same thing could be said for Max, because again, Max is all about, and again, not a slight at Max. He seems, well, one of the times I've talked to him, he seems fine, but you're going ahead and you're preaching about victims and how allegations this, allegations that, and you really take that route where you try to hinge off your principles being your key thing, your go-to thing. You have a person like Slug come along where obviously principles mean jack shit to him, from at least from what we can see, because he flops on them or he changes them. That's not a good look, and that shows that you're not authentic and you don't actually believe the shit you're saying. So why should we?
I agree. So I feel like at this point, if someone truly wants to make a point about a Slug from now on, I recommend that person make a video going in depth about Slug's career. Honestly, it should be someone who is unbiased, though. Like, that way it doesn't turn into like a shit slinging contest like Steve DeLeve's video. I think Steve's video on Slug is his best video, and it does show how unstable Slug can be. But in the video, Steve also takes shots at Slug that can't be confirmed. For example, Slug claimed to have been R-worded, and now you can say, well, Slug lied about this, but that you don't have the evidence for that. Therefore, I don't think
I believe it.
Yeah, but when you're making a video, it's just going to cause like a shit slinging contest. It's
but the problem is anybody that would make a video on Slug is the experienced Slug, so there will always be a biased take.
Not like an absolute hatred. You know what I mean? Like someone who's like kind of like the unseen or someone like that who doesn't really know everything, just does their research.
DJ Screwdriver.
But the problem is, Matt. No, but the problem is anybody who does that is going to activate Slug, and then that'll be like a whole thing for them. So if they weren't biased before, they would be biased.
No, but that's fine. No, but that's if somebody like DJ Screwdriver obviously makes some of the best shit, right? So if he made a video on Slug, I feel like it would be pretty unbiased, looking at the history of a Slug, right? And then the nice thing about that is, anytime I bring up the Steve DeLeve video to Slug, right? Any evidence that is in that Steve DeLeve video, Slug will immediately throw out, well, he doxes children, right? And he said this, right? Like, he'll point out the one or two things that he got wrong in the fucking video, or that was a.
But Beavers, why are you taking him seriously?
What?
That he says
Taking
that
Slug
because
seriously?
Yeah, because like the whole like doxing children thing, like it wasn't that like a mistake or something?
Wow.
Why are you taking him seriously at what he says? Isn't there like a lot of nuance with that? I don't know. I'm just asking.
I mean, I was in the call with Steve. I was in the call.
Why are you taking him seriously? I'm saying no. What this is what irritates me though is that like we're not supposed to take Slug seriously, but we're supposed to take him seriously some of the time. Which is it?
Wait, what is Beaver taking Slug seriously?
I'm just like, no, because like, all of what you're saying is saying that like Slug would basically be able to have like a serious argument. And I'm saying my position now is he doesn't. No argument he ever makes is ever.
It's an annoying argument. It's just like that's all. I think that's all Beavers is saying. It's just be annoying to talk to him.
Gotcha. Okay, I might have
just annoying because whenever you bring up a fact to him, he will then throw out that because Steve DeLeve did it, these are all the bad things that Steve DeLeve has done.
But nobody should take Slug seriously anyway. It's just like that's what I'm saying. Is
yeah,
like,
but the thing is, Steve DeLeve. No, but the problem is Steve DeLeve has done terrible things, right? So when I'm trying to make Slug look like an idiot, and I'm referencing things from Steve DeLeve's video.
But that's according to Slug, and why should you take his word seriously?
Objectively, Steve DeLeve.
No, but when you're having the conversation with Slug, no, I don't disagree. I'm just saying that when you're having that argument against Slug, anybody who's in that position is going to be in that position no matter what. Because there's a lot of stuff he did back and forth with that.
Because I'm not trying to convince Slug in that moment. I'm trying to convince the people that are watching him that are retarded
and there you
and
go.
Are believing.
And there we go. That's exactly what we were trying to do. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
No. Because PeePaw went on there and he did exactly the same thing. Which all the retards then looked at PeePaw and went, well, he's just as retarded as fucking Slug is. Right?
I don't know.
That's how that came across. What I'm saying is, every time I say that, it's almost like a smoke screen, because I'll say, "Oh, Slug, you did this thing," and then he'll be like, "Oh, well, that comes from fucking Steve DeLeve's video, and he broke into a high school once," and then everybody will be like, "Well, that is true, and that's kind of fucked up that he did break into a high school," and then all of a sudden the whole thing's derailed, and my point that I was trying to make is meaningless. And also, that whole thing is, Slug, technically speaking, Steve DeLeve did dox those children, right? I don't think he intended to dox them. I think he just did not fucking care. He did
Yeah,
not.
no,
care
I
if he
was in
with
I was
us.
in
was
the call with
careless,
him.
yeah.
I was in the call with him when we told him it was me and some other person. I won't name them, but we were like, "Don't re-upload this clip because you already knew that they were gonna probably have the kids in that Facebook, and you didn't care, and you did it anyways. So you going ahead and re-uploading this clip uncensored to Repsion and Jane just to spite them is just gonna prove that to people, and it's not a good idea." And he's like, "I don't care. I hate Repsion and Jane. I'm gonna do it. Fuck them." And so he did it. He didn't really care.
If we talked about this in the old Now Recording episodes, but if he would have just fucking like when Jane and Repsion started freaking out about it, if he would have just been like, "Hey, look, I didn't fucking know that was gonna pop up. You put the link in your tweet. I was just going over it. I'll go and censor it right now. All right, I apologize." But
then
Jane,
he re-uploaded it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If he would have just done that,
and he already knew that because we told them, "Don't. Why are you doing this?" If we told, like, this is an obvious trap, if you even want to call it that, Steve. Why are you gonna do it? And he's like, "Because I don't care. I don't care about them. They don't get to decide what I get to do or some shit." I don't. He's very hard-headed and prideful and shit. Like, you can almost say that he's as bad as like he's just a smart.
I was gonna say they could be besties.
No, they could.
You know what I mean?
They really could. He's just smarter. Like when, for example, when Steve is doxing Slug, he will do it on an alt account that Slug has no idea is him up until I'm like, "Hey, Slug, yeah, that time you were getting hardcore doxed with your street address, that was actually Steve on an alt account. I was on the phone with him." And he was like, "Oh," and I'm like, "Yeah, he's kind of fucked up. He's kind of like you. He's just smarter, Slug."
What you're saying is they should stay enemies then.
I mean, they could maybe like.
No, I don't
never
think they would
understood why they
accomplish
couldn't be
anything.
friends. Like, I never understood why they couldn't be friends. It's just they're very alike in some ways. I don't know. I don't know why they couldn't get along.
Well, it's like Dumb and Dumber. They just work. It's like salt and pepper. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So let's keep the spices separated.
All right. Well, I think that's all. D-Max had a joke about house burnings down. If you get your house burned down, you are also bad with
That's
money. I lost the fucking screenshot again. God damn it.
It's okay. I cut it out. People who are also bad with money: Ringtail, Everborn, Extremely Happy Simmer. Is that the name? Really? Okay. Stefan Corbino, Joe, aka Mr. Bramion Malaya, Strictly Patrick, Fresh Brewski, Jacob Thomas, K Huck, Reynold Hughes, and Mame. If you would like to be bad with money too, then give us, what is it, $10 a month? And
$14.99 a month. Get your name set after
That's
every
it.
episode, every stream. $10.99 is the Beaver Lover. Gets you access to early episodes early. A few days early, and then $4.99 a month is the Stumpies, which will get you access to Discord server and membership streams. And those are
By the way, my legion of beaver lovers is slowly growing.
Yeah, because we had a much more fair fucking.
Well, I was being outdone by the fucking Stumpies. I was being outdone by the Stumpies, and wow, surprise, surprise, whose like fucking disability is on our highest tier? Fucking Matt Pitt. Fucking egotistical Matt Pitt. And like in the middle.
Highest tier? That's the lowest tier.
It's the lowest tier.
I want my dollar tier.
Oh wait, I thought I got confused there. Yeah, it's the lowest tier. That's why he has more people than me. I'll swap with you, Matt. How does that sound?
No.
Oh, so you like the Legion. You like looking down at the chat and seeing
people are gonna be fucking confused, all right?
Yeah, that would be kind of confusing.
Anyway, Sen, you have anything else before we end?
No, that's it. Good talking to you guys. Good
Thanks,
chat.
man.
Yeah.
It is good chat. And remember, Now Recording is always recording. Have a good one, guys.
Have a good one, guys.